The Canadian embassy in Afghanistan sits abandoned, and it looks like staff left in a hurry. The Canadian government says it has no plans to return here to a country controlled by what it calls a terrorist organization. This is not an accurate definition of us. If they are saying we are a terrorist regime, Canada should behave more responsibly, said the Taliban's official spokesperson. The time for war is over. It's a new season. We want good diplomatic relations with Canada and all countries. After 20 years of fighting, the Taliban is launching a new charm offensive, posing for photographs and inviting foreign journalists to see a country it says is safer and free of corruption. People were only afraid of the Taliban because of Western media propaganda, says this deputy commander. We are fighting for the country. Afghans are not afraid anymore. The Taliban allowed us to monitor one of their patrols here on the streets of Kabul as the extremist group tries to project a friendlier face to the outside world. At the same time, it's also seeking international recognition and desperately needed foreign aid. The UN warns Afghanistan is on the brink of becoming the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The situation's so desperate, this family is selling one of their own children to buy food for the others. I'm required to say I'm happy with the Taliban, this man scoffs. The price of flour has doubled. Everyone is unemployed. We need help. The Taliban is hoping these scenes will persuade the international community to open their purse strings. But Canada and its allies fear empowering the Taliban to return to the medieval methods of its first rule, when women were prisoners in their own homes and Kabul's soccer stadium hosted public executions. Today, criminal cases are heard by this Taliban primary court. This man says a police officer from the former government killed his brother. The punishment for murder is death, the Taliban commander says. Asked what evidence was provided, or whether the accused will be publicly executed, he declines to answer. We asked this commander if the Taliban has truly changed. A Muslim will never change his ideology. He will follow the Quran and Sharia law. But the Taliban is more skilled in politics than it was 20 years ago, he says. Some Afghans say that politically savvy Taliban is conducting its operations not under a stadium spotlight, but in the shadows. We're hiding this man's identity because he used to work security at the Canadian Forces base in Kandahar. He says his father and brother were killed by the Taliban, while another brother was recently found with photos of the Canadian military on his phone. He says the Taliban took him away and beat him nearly to death. Other videos shared with Global News appear to show Taliban going door to door, conducting torture and executions inside homes, or in outlying areas far from the capital.
We cannot trust them because they are not trustable.
This former Canadian interpreter believes that once the Taliban achieves some international concessions, it will show its true face.
Whatever they say, it's just, they also learned politics somehow. But everybody knows the truth. They fought for 20 years. So do you really think it's going to be over? Like, it never happened? We are their enemies. They will take their revenge.
In 20 years, he says, Afghanistan has changed, but the Taliban has not. Jeff Semple, Global News, Kabul.